For centuries, it has stood as a symbol of human ambition and engineering prowess, the Great Wall of China. Legends swirl around this colossal structure. Some claim its immensity makes it visible from the inky blackness of space. Others whisper that it can be seen all the way from the moon. Still other tales tell of builders entombed within its very walls. Prepare to have those grand illusions shattered. While these stories capture the imagination, they are, alas, nothing more than myths. Yet even stripped of these exaggerations, the Great Wall remains a structure of unparalleled magnificence, a testament to human endeavor. Let's journey back in time and uncover its true story. China, a land teeming with life, home to a staggering 1.4 billion people. It's a nation steeped in history, boasting 3,500 years of continuous written records. But the story of this civilization stretches far deeper, beyond the reach of ink and parchment. A fascinating theory suggests that while Europe was populated by waves of migrants from Africa, the origins of the Chinese people may lie closer to home. Some believe that the Chinese civilization arose from the indigenous Stone Age inhabitants who had long called this land home. Now, consider the sheer scale of the Great Wall. Even by modern standards, it is breathtaking. It snakes across the landscape for over 13,000 miles. To put that into perspective, that's nearly 5 times the distance between New York and Los Angeles. It even eclipses the distance between the North and South Poles. No other construction in human history comes close to matching its colossal size. Of course, such a monumental undertaking was not achieved overnight. The Great Wall was forged over centuries, a testament to the enduring ambition of emperors and dynasties. Imagine the ancient world, where cities were fortresses, ringed by protective walls. Chinese cities were no exception. Then, in 220 BCE, the first emperor of China, a man of vision and ambition, conceived a daring plan. He would unite these disparate city walls into a single, colossal barrier, a great wall to defend his empire from the threat of invaders from the north. A trusted general was placed in charge of this immense project, conscripting a vast army of workers, soldiers, commoners, and even convicts. In those early days, the wall was a more humble affair, constructed from rammed earth and wood. At strategically vital points, sections of the wall overlapped, creating layers of defense. These early walls rose to an average height of around 26 feet. But this was just the beginning. The Great Wall was far from the imposing structure we know today. Each successive emperor took up the mantle, strengthening, extending, and modernizing the wall. Some employed bricks, while others favored granite and marble blocks, materials that would stand the test of time. Even the iconic watchtowers and platforms were not part of the original design. These were later additions, implemented by the Ming emperors. These watchtowers served as vital communication hubs, allowing soldiers to relay messages using smoke signals and fire, connecting distant sections of the wall. The Great Wall is a patchwork of materials and techniques, a testament to the centuries of labor poured into its construction. This very inconsistency adds to its charm, revealing the immense effort and time required to bring it into existence. What is the secret to the longevity of certain sections of the wall, which have stood for centuries, defying the ravages of time? The answer may surprise you: glutinous rice flour. This sticky substance was used to create a mortar so strong and waterproof that it acts almost like cement. It binds the bricks together with such tenacity that even the most determined weeds cannot penetrate its seal. Look closely at some of the bricks, and you might notice inscriptions carved into their surfaces. These were left by the workers who toiled on the wall, serving as a form of quality control. These inscriptions contain vital information such as the location, quantity, and responsible officials. In the event of problems with the materials or construction, these markings allowed authorities to identify and hold accountable those responsible. Recently, a team of researchers delved into the official historical records of the Ming Dynasty, which ruled China from the 14th to the 17th centuries. They stumbled upon intriguing references to secret doors hidden within the Great Wall. Intrigued, they set out to find them. Using a specialized drone, they captured continuous, centimeter-resolution photographs of the wall. They meticulously documented 90% of the wall built during the Ming Dynasty and uncovered the remains of over 220 secret doors. These hidden passages came in various sizes. Some were narrow, allowing only a single person to pass through, while others were large enough to accommodate 2 horses. What was the purpose of these clandestine entrances? The Great Wall was built to keep enemies out. Why, then, would its builders include secret doors that could potentially allow invaders to breach its defenses? The answer, of course, lies in their secrecy. These passages were designed to blend seamlessly with the surrounding terrain. The exits on the outside were expertly camouflaged with bricks, making them virtually indistinguishable from the rest of the wall. The wall was never intended to be a purely defensive structure, nor was it ever completely sealed. It could be opened when necessary, serving as a conduit for trade, commerce, and communication between the inside and outside world. Imagine trying to solve an ancient mystery. In 1903, there seemed to be only one path to unravel the secrets of the Sahara bird: testing a model. But the venerable Egyptian museum in Cairo, understandably, wouldn't allow such liberties with one of their prized relics. So, glider designer Martin Gregory took on the challenge, crafting a similar model from balsa wood. His conclusion? Even with the missing tailplane, the replica wasn't much of a flyer. Case closed. Not quite. The History Channel remained unconvinced, and rightly so. They enlisted an aerodynamics expert to construct another replica of the bird. This time, it was tested under weather conditions mirroring those of ancient Egypt. The results were astonishing. The expert was impressed by the little plane's capabilities. Could it be that the pharaohs possessed the prototype of an airplane? If true, it would stand as a remarkable example of an out-of-place artifact. An object far ahead of its time in terms of technology and historical context. The Sahara bird isn't alone in this category of revolutionary concepts. In 1901, a team of divers recovered the Antikythera mechanism from a shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera. This artifact has been hailed as the world's first analog computer, dating back to around 100 BCE. This intricate bronze mechanism could predict the positions of the sun, moon, planets, and stars, as well as lunar phases. It could even calculate the dates of upcoming solar eclipses and the moon's speed across the sky. Who used it, how, and where it was manufactured remained shrouded in mystery. What is clear, however, is its unparalleled precision and its status as a device far too advanced for its era. Now, let's talk about hygiene. The first flushing toilets weren't invented in the middle of the 20th century. The ancient Minoans, inhabiting the Mediterranean island of Crete, and the Indus Valley civilization independently conceived this brilliant invention around 4,000 years ago. Their plumbing and sanitation systems were so advanced that no one managed to surpass them for another 2,000 years. One ancient Minoan lavatory, unearthed at the Palace of Knossos, featured a wooden seat positioned over a tunnel. This tunnel channeled water from a rooftop reservoir to an underground sewer. Other versions relied on jugs for water. Only the wealthiest could afford such luxurious amenities. So, if you were searching for prime real estate in those days, a flushing toilet served as a clear indicator of affluence. Automated doors, often perceived as a relatively modern marvel, gained popularity in 1931. However, the underlying technology dates back much further, to the 1st century CE. Heron of Alexandria, a brilliant mathematician and engineer, devised a hydraulic system to automatically open and close temple doors. The mechanism required lighting a fire to generate heat. A brass pot, partially filled with water, was placed beneath the fire. The inventor connected this pot to containers that functioned as weights. As the fire burned, the water flowed into the containers, causing them to descend and pull on ropes. This triggered the doors to open. Unlike modern supermarket doors that glide open instantaneously, Heron's door required hours to open, and the process was irreversible. Consequently, the doors were opened only once a day before the temple welcomed visitors, adding an element of mystique to the ceremonies held within. Spooky, isn't it? And now let's delve into the realm of electricity. It appears that the first ever battery was invented in Baghdad around 2,000 years ago. A German archaeologist discovered this oval-shaped clay jar in 1938. Scientists remain uncertain about its precise purpose and its creator. One prevailing theory suggests it was used for electroplating objects with precious metals. When filled with a weak acid, such as vinegar, the battery could generate approximately 1 volt of electricity. Another theory posits that it served as a vessel for safeguarding sacred scrolls. How about some ancient eyewear? Leonardo da Vinci himself designed contact lenses in 1508. He conceived a glass lens with a funnel on one side, intended to be worn with water inside to enhance vision. Sounds rather uncomfortable, doesn't it? Roughly a century later, French scientist René Descartes sought to refine the idea, proposing that the cornea make direct contact with the lens. The future contact lenses, because they make contact with your eyes. Get it? The glass tube filled with liquid did improve vision, but sadly, blinking became an impossible feat. 2.5 centuries elapsed before advancements in glass industry technologies enabled scientists to design contact lenses that fit comfortably in the eye, even allowing the wearer to blink. Those early lenses, however, were crafted from heavy blown glass and didn't allow the eye to breathe. Around 50 years later, contact lenses transitioned to plastic, becoming lightweight, unbreakable, and scratch-resistant. Yet, they still covered the entire eye. Then, in 1948, an English optical technician inadvertently sanded down a plastic lens and realized that it could remain in place even if it covered only the cornea. Imagine yourself living in 1948. Imagine traveling back to 19th century London. If you needed to send a message to New York, it would take roughly 10 days by ship. So, when delivery times plummeted from days to mere hours in 1858, it caused a genuine sensation. The very first message was dispatched by Queen Victoria herself. This marvel was made achievable thanks to the transatlantic telegraph cable laid beneath the vast ocean. Sadly, this groundbreaking invention had a short lifespan, lasting only a few weeks. It demanded years of persistent effort to restore it to full functionality. Scientists, those brilliant minds who bring about world-altering discoveries, still encounter perplexing mysteries. Here are 10 such enigmas that have baffled some of the sharpest scientific minds. Envision, if you will, perpetually hearing a low-frequency hum, yet no one can pinpoint its origin. Approximately 4% of the global population experiences this phenomenon. It's a sound that defies geographical boundaries. People across the globe report hearing it. Consequently, the name varies depending on the region, from Taos hum to Auckland hum. The sound exists just at the edge of human hearing. Those affected report hearing it less when outdoors, and it seems to intensify indoors, especially at night. Even more unsettling, once you perceive the hum, you can't simply ignore it. Some claim it originated in London around the time of Charles Dickens, the author of A Christmas Carol, was writing. Perhaps the low-frequency sound actually emanates from the humbug himself. Although, the earliest documented cases trace back to Bristol, UK, in the mid-1970s. Scientists have proposed various theories regarding the hum's source and why only certain individuals can perceive it. Yet, a definitive explanation remains elusive. One possibility is that the hum arises when ocean waves interact with the ocean floor, creating seismic vibrations upon contact with continental shelves. Alternatively, volcanic activity and earthquakes could be responsible. And what about ultra-low-frequency radio signals, the kind used for submarine communication, or even 5G technology? Then there's upsweep, another type of unidentified sound. This one was discovered in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean in 1991. The sound's frequency is high enough to be detected across the entire ocean basin. Scientists speculate it may be linked to underwater volcanic activity. Intriguingly, the sound's intensity has diminished since its initial discovery, yet it remains detectable. Moreover, it exhibits seasonal variations, peaking in spring and fall. Is this tied to seasonal shifts in ocean conditions? No one can definitively say. Our next mystery, a cone-shaped monument resting on the floor of the Sea of Galilee in Israel. This unusual structure was accidentally discovered during sonar scanning operations in 2003, although the findings weren't published until 2013. The monument is immense, estimated to weigh around 60,000 tons. Imagine a colossal structure once exposed, but later submerged by rising waters. Archaeologists are perplexed by its origins, unsure of its purpose or what civilization it might be connected to. This large enigmatic structure remains an unsolved puzzle. Now let's journey to Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. This location boasts one of the most archaeologically significant sites on Earth. Why is it so important? Because it features massive, intricately carved stones dating back approximately 11,000 years. To put that in perspective, they predate Stonehenge by a staggering 6,000 years. Ancient people erected these stones long before the advent of farming, metal tools, or even pottery. The very existence of this site challenges conventional understanding of civilization's timeline. We typically assume that farming preceded construction. But at Göbekli Tepe, this may not have been the case. What was the purpose of this site? Was it a place of worship dedicated to ancient spirits? Archaeologists believe it could potentially be the world's oldest temple. All right, try saying this. Paleodiction nodosum. I know, it sounds like a complex chemical formula. This is a living fossil found far below, on the ocean floor. This creature constructs distinct hexagonal burrows in the sediment. Yet, scientists have been unable to identify the burrow's architect. What do I mean by living fossil? Paleodiction nodosum is believed to create burrows practically identical to Paleodictian fossils. Is it a worm-like animal responsible for these intricate structures? Scientists remain uncertain. One thing is clear. These aren't merely random formations resulting from geological processes. Speaking of fossils, behold this giant. Its informal name is Godzillus. It was unearthed in 2011 by an amateur paleontologist, that is, a scientist who studies the history of life on Earth by analyzing fossil remains. Returning to Godzillus, it measures nearly 7 feet in length and 9 feet in height when standing upright. This fossil is estimated to be 450 million years old, originating from a time when the Cincinnati area was submerged underwater. While some scientists suggest it might be a fossilized algae mat, others hold differing viewpoints. Finally, we have a massive tunnel discovered in South America. This tunnel is estimated to be at least 8,000 to 10,000 years old. Initially, researchers stumbled upon a few colossal burrows. These burrows were immense and skillfully constructed. Geologists were astonished, saying, "Imagine a landscape untouched by modern hands, millions of years stretching into the past." In Brazil, paleontologists stumbled upon something truly bizarre. Colossal burrows, unlike anything they had ever encountered. These weren't mere animal dens. They were vast, complex structures, defying any known geological explanation. Imagine the scene. Researchers scratched their heads. Since the 1930s, these strange formations had been dismissed as archaeological oddities, perhaps some forgotten human construction. But then came the discovery that changed everything. Enormous claw marks raking the walls and ceilings of these subterranean chambers. The marks spoke of an ancient, powerful creature, long vanished from the earth. The leading theory? Giant ground sloths and armadillos, creatures of immense size, were the architects of these Paleolithic marvels. This is the largest known burrow system from that era ever found in the Amazon. But questions still linger. How could such intricate, seemingly deliberate structures form naturally? Then, the plot thickened. Another, equally strange cave was discovered hundreds of miles away. And then another. Fast forward to today, and over 1,500 of these Paleolithic burrows have been unearthed across Brazil. Even more astonishing, some are interconnected, forming labyrinthine tunnels leading to expansive chambers. What drove these ancient mega-mammals to create such elaborate underground networks? The mystery remains. Let's shift gears now to a different kind of natural phenomenon, one steeped in legend and wonder. Picture the Mekong River in Thailand, particularly in October. Here, locals speak of Naga fireballs, mysterious bursts of light that erupt from the water's surface. Legend claims these fireballs are a call for Buddha's return, sent forth by river serpents. A captivating myth, but what does science have to say? The truth is, no one knows for sure. Are these fireballs the result of some kind of flammable gas release? The answer remains elusive. These glowing orbs rise from the river, sometimes reaching heights of nearly 1,000 feet, before vanishing as quickly as they appear, like fleeting fireworks. Their color is typically reddish or orange, adding to their mystique. And speaking of myths, let's delve into another captivating tale. The legend of Atlantis. The story goes that this advanced civilization was swallowed by the ocean around 11,000 years ago. Ever since, scientists, treasure hunters, and philosophers alike have been searching for this lost world. Could the so-called Bimini Road be a clue? In 1968, a diver discovered strange stones off the coast of North Bimini Island in the Bahamas. These stones appeared to be man-made, laid out in an orderly row, seemingly evenly spaced. It was a tantalizing prospect, but scientific scrutiny revealed a more prosaic explanation. Carbon dating analysis showed that geological forces, not human hands, had created the road. There were no tool marks, no signs of stacking or construction. Erosion, the relentless sculptor of the natural world, was the true architect. The search for Atlantis continues. Now, imagine this. You're strolling along a beach, and you witness dozens of octopuses, those masters of camouflage and intelligence, walking past you. This bizarre scene unfolded in Wales in 2017. A group of astonished onlookers watched as 20 to 30 octopuses crawled across the sand. Why did these creatures abandon the ocean depths? The answer remains a mystery. The witnesses reported that the octopuses appeared unharmed. They gently returned the animals to the sea, but the determined cephalopods kept crawling back onto the shore, even under the cover of darkness. Experts are still speculating about the cause of this unusual behavior. Could it be overcrowding? One theory suggests a link to fishing practices. A separate study indicates that as fishermen target the larger predators that prey on octopuses, the octopus population may be booming. Perhaps these creatures are venturing further afield in search of food or new habitats. But without further research, these remain just theories. Shifting our focus to the cosmos, let's consider the sun, that yellowish source of life in our solar system. Scientists have recently discovered a new type of wave propagating within the sun. These waves defy expectations, moving in the opposite direction of the sun's rotation and at astonishing speeds, far beyond our current understanding. Researchers are developing various theories to explain the function of these waves. Unlocking their secrets could provide invaluable insights into the complex processes occurring within our star. Now, let's step back in time once more, to a period when Neanderthals roamed the Earth. Imagine a real estate advertisement geared towards these ancient hominids. Comfortable abode with a gorgeous view of the Mediterranean Sea, perfect rain shelter. Of course, 100,000 years ago, real estate and advertising were still distant concepts. Neanderthals didn't build houses. They often sought shelter in caves, and one particular cave, nestled within a high limestone cliff, looks remarkably like a residential building. Imagine a rocky promontory jutting out into the sea. This is the Rock of Gibraltar. Had Neanderthals possessed a real estate market, the caves nestled within this colossal stone formation would have commanded exorbitant prices. It was back in 1907 that navigators first laid eyes on a significant opening within this fortified rock. For years, scientists have meticulously explored this location, uncovering traces of Neanderthal existence. Ancient tools and the fossilized remains of long-gone animals have been unearthed, but the most remarkable discovery was a network of 4 interconnected caves, like a prehistoric residential complex. Picture this: Neanderthals, living side by side, assisting each other in hunts and fishing expeditions. They adorned their living spaces with feather decorations and etched abstract drawings onto the cave walls. Imagine our ancient ancestors socializing and dwelling within these caves over 100,000 years ago. Now, scientists meticulously study the primeval past of Neanderthals within these very chambers. As recently as late 2021, archaeologists stumbled upon a hidden passage within one of the caves, leading to a previously unknown tunnel. Squeezing through this narrow opening, they discovered a new chamber beneath the cave's ceiling. This space had remained sealed off from the outside world for over 40,000 years. It appears to have been one of the most desirable apartments within the entire mountain complex, boasting high ceilings adorned with ancient stalactites. Ruined stone formations acted as curtains, dividing the space into multiple rooms. The remains of ancient animals and scratch marks on the walls were also found. Intriguingly, it seems Neanderthals didn't reside here permanently, but rather visited the site. Archaeologists discovered the shell of a sea snail, a dog whelk, suggesting a Neanderthal brought it here for an unknown purpose. However, the primary occupants of this space were hyenas. These caves provide compelling evidence that Neanderthals were far more similar to humans than to monkeys. They possessed a structured way of life and even their own customs. Much work remains, and scientists are optimistic about discovering new chambers within this remarkable rock formation. Meanwhile, back in 2003, on the island of Flores in Indonesia, archaeologists unearthed another early dwelling amidst the lush green jungle. Inside a cave, they found ancient tools. Initially, it was assumed that human ancestors had lived here. However, further investigation revealed an unusual skeleton of an adult. A thorough analysis revealed that the skeleton belonged to a 30-year-old woman standing only 3.5 feet tall, barely reaching the waist of an average adult. Her weight was comparable to that of a small dog. This skeleton didn't match Neanderthals or Australopithecus. It represented a new, previously unknown species, which scientists named Homo floresiensis, or simply the Hobbit. The cave also contained the remains of unusual ancient animals, including an elephant the size of a cow, massive storks, and giant rats. Archaeologists determined that the hobbits were not the sole occupants of this place. The main inhabitants were those cat-sized rats, possibly even engaging in conflicts with the hobbits. Scientific analysis suggests that Homo floresiensis was not a direct ancestor of modern humans, but rather a separate branch of evolution. The hobbit skeleton bears a closer resemblance to that of a monkey than to modern humans. Then, in 2009, deep within the dense jungles of Vietnam, archaeologists discovered Son Doong, the largest cave in the world. If you were to venture inside and shout, your echo would reverberate for an extended period. In some areas, the cave's height reaches half the height of the Empire State Building, and its total area is larger than an entire city block in New York. Son Doong is part of a network of 3 caves within the Vietnamese jungle, interconnected by numerous mazes. Within these caves, one can find unique plants and trees that exist in isolation from the outside world. A true underground jungle. In certain locations, collapsed ceilings allow sunlight to penetrate, illuminating the subterranean landscape. Alongside unusual trees and plants, ancient stalactites hang suspended. Some limestone deposits predate the dinosaurs, dating back over 450 million years. Numerous rivers also flow within the cave, formed by rainwater cascading through openings in the ceiling. These fast-flowing streams resemble natural water park slides, leading to unexplored underground labyrinths. Scientists have only explored a fraction of this vast cave system. Our journey now takes us to New Zealand, to another extraordinary cave. Here, hundreds of thousands of glowworms reside, each emitting a mesmerizing blue light. Together, they illuminate the cave, creating the illusion of being on another planet. However, prolonged stays are not permitted. Special air monitoring devices are strategically placed throughout the cave, continuously measuring carbon dioxide levels, which are crucial for the glowworm's survival. These insects are incredibly sensitive to environmental changes. If the number of visitors becomes excessive or if they remain for too long, park staff will ask them to leave, as they are essentially stealing oxygen from the glowworms. We've explored some truly remarkable caves, but now, let's venture into a more ominous and frightening one. Let's journey to the desert of Yemen's Al-Marrah Governorate. Forget picturesque caves. Our destination is far more unsettling. Imagine a gaping black hole in the earth, smack dab in the middle of the golden sands. It's not a small thing, picture a basketball court, but it's not the size that chills you to the bone. It's what dwells within. Even now, scientists can only speculate about its secrets. From the inky depths of this abyss rises a nauseating stench, like 1,000 rotten eggs festering in the sun. And sometimes carried on the desert wind, you can hear sounds. Strange, unsettling sounds that set the teeth on edge. The darkness within this giant maw seems to swallow light itself. Even the most powerful flashlights can't pierce the gloom. Locals whisper of other dimensions, of monstrous beings lurking just beyond our reality. Helicopters have buzzed overhead, drones have whirred, and powerful lenses have strained to capture something, anything, beyond the impenetrable blackness. It's like a vast ink stain marring the face of the desert. The local tribes avoid this place. They believe it is a portal to a terrifying realm, home to malevolent entities. This colossal hole in Yemen remains one of nature's most baffling enigmas. How did it form? How old is it? And to what unimaginable depths does it lead? Scientists continue to probe, to theorize. Some suggest that nearby geological surveys, with their drilling and probing for mineral deposits, might have destabilized the Earth, leading to a catastrophic collapse. But this remains just a theory, unproven and unsettling. Now let's shift our focus. Imagine a place where sunlight hasn't touched the stone for over 5 million years. A place of perpetual darkness, with scant oxygen and bone-chilling cold. Yet even here, life finds a way. Not just microbes and bacteria, but something more. The conditions within this subterranean realm are so alien, so unlike anything on the surface, that it's akin to discovering another planet. We find ourselves at Mobile Cave, nestled in southeastern Romania, near the Black Sea. The entrance is unassuming, a small hole in the ground. From there, a narrow tunnel plunges deep into the earth. Inside, the air is thick with hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide, far exceeding normal levels. Oxygen is scarce, barely half of what we breathe above ground. Humans require oxygen masks to survive here, but for the cave's denizens, it's home. This extraordinary cave teems with life. 48 distinct species, 33 of which are found nowhere else on Earth. Here, you might encounter bizarre, translucent insects, ghostly white snails, and albino spiders. Millipedes with enormous antennae navigate the darkness alongside transparent shrimp and unique species of leeches. How do they survive? The answer lies with the humble bacteria, the autotrophs. These microscopic organisms consume carbon dioxide and release nourishing food particles. The bacteria become sustenance for larger organisms, and those, in turn, are preyed upon by still larger creatures. It's a self-contained ecosystem, a testament to the power of evolution to carve out life even in the most hostile environments. Within Mobile Cave, evolution has sculpted a unique biological system, utterly isolated from the world above. Now, let's travel back in time to October 30th, 1759. The Middle East is rocked by a violent earthquake. Buildings shudder, cracks spiderweb across walls, and roofs begin to crumble. People flee their homes, seeking safety in open spaces, but the ground itself seems to writhe beneath their feet, sending them sprawling. A month later, a second, even more devastating earthquake strikes. Trees snap like twigs, houses collapse into rubble, and deep fissures tear through the earth. The cataclysm lasts for a terrifying 2 minutes, leaving oases, roads, and entire cities in ruins. Incredibly, amidst this destruction, some ancient structures stand defiant. Consider Baalbek, a city of immense scale and mystery. Some historians believe its origins lie with the Roman Empire, but many researchers dispute this claim. Regardless of its true age, Baalbek remains one of humanity's most awe-inspiring archaeological sites. The Jewel of Baalbek is undoubtedly the Temple of Jupiter. The Romans believed Jupiter held dominion over lightning and thunder, and this temple was built to honor his power. Originally, it was a vast platform adorned with 54 towering columns supporting a colossal roof. Today, only 6 of these columns remain standing, each reaching a height of 70 feet. Each column is constructed from 3 massive stone sections, resembling enormous pencils. The cores of these pencils were filled with lead, lending them exceptional strength. Each of these stone sections weighs an astonishing 80 tons, the equivalent of 35 Ford Explorer SUVs. Consider this. The largest block in the Great Pyramid of Giza is impressive, but it pales in comparison to the blocks of Baalbek. The foundation beneath the Temple of Jupiter, meticulously examined by specialists, consists of approximately 25 monolithic stones, each weighing a staggering 450 tons. That's almost 4 times heavier than the blocks used in the Egyptian pyramids. And there's more. 3 even larger limestone blocks lie within the foundation, each weighing a colossal 800 tons. That's more than twice the weight of a fully loaded Boeing 747 airplane. The ancient builders faced an unimaginable challenge in quarrying, transporting, and positioning such gargantuan stones. Imagine the logistical nightmare. Transporting massive stone blocks to a construction site, lifting them to dizzying heights. Today's builders would rely on powerful machinery, but what about ancient civilizations? How did they accomplish such feats without trucks, cranes, or even electricity? Scientists theorize the use of ingenious systems involving ropes, winches, and levers, all crafted from the readily available wood. Now, let's journey back to a quarry, roughly 3,000 feet from an ancient temple complex. Archaeologists believe this was the source of the colossal stones. Here, they discovered a true behemoth, a limestone block deemed too immense even for this already awe-inspiring sight. Dubbed the Stone of the South, this monolith stretched an incredible 65 feet long and 13 feet wide. It appears the ancient builders were interrupted before they could fully detach it from the surrounding rock. Austrian scientists estimate its weight at over 1,000 tons, equivalent to 3 Boeing aircraft or a staggering 160 African elephants. But the surprises didn't end there. Nearby, a second monolith was unearthed, tipping the scales at a mind-boggling 200 tons. Yet, undeterred, these ancient engineers pressed on. In 2014, German archaeologists uncovered yet another block in the same quarry, this one weighing an astounding 1,250 tons. That's the equivalent of 125 school buses. The purpose of such a colossal stone remains shrouded in mystery. How did they intend to move this titan? And why was the project abandoned? This third monolith stands as the largest processed stone in human history, a testament to ambition and ingenuity. The questions far outweigh the answers. Some researchers speculate advanced technology, lost to time. Others remain skeptical, yet equally driven to understand the seemingly impossible feats of these ancient builders. Across the globe, countless ancient structures and artifacts leave experts scratching their heads. Consider the Serapeum near the Pyramid of Djoser in Egypt. Here, archaeologists discovered a network of tunnels containing 24 sarcophagi, each weighing between 70 and 100 tons. These colossal boxes are carved from single pieces of granite and sealed with massive lids. Their perfect symmetry and flawlessly smooth surfaces are baffling, even with modern technology. How did the ancient Egyptians achieve such precision? Then there's the Lycurgus cup, a priceless artifact showcasing ancient nanotechnology. This glass goblet possesses the remarkable ability to change color depending on the light source. Lit from the front, it glows green. From behind, a deep red. The figure of King Lycurgus himself shifts to pale purple. Scientists only unlocked the secret to this color change in the late 20th century, discovering nanoparticles of silver, gold, and copper embedded within the glass matrix. This creates a phenomenon known as dichroism. The gold and silver were ground into an incredibly fine dust, a feat nearly impossible to achieve accidentally. It seems the ancient artisans possessed a deep understanding of material science. Let's travel to Pumapunku in Bolivia, a site that appears as if a giant played with an enormous construction set, scattering colossal stone blocks across the landscape. Of course, giants are just a fantasy. These huge blocks were meticulously carved by ancient builders over 800 years ago. Some weigh as much as 100 tons. These stones were transported to an altitude of almost 13,000 feet above sea level, sourced from a quarry 60 miles away. The barren landscape offers no trees, eliminating the possibility of using wooden rollers for transport. The monument is attributed to the Inca civilization, yet scientists believe they had no knowledge of the wheel. How did they move these massive stones across such distances and up such steep inclines? Finally, imagine a Chinese village in 1992. Decades earlier, the villagers decided to drain a pond, a body of water that had served their ancestors for generations. For 17 days, they pumped water until finally an unexpected discovery was made at the bottom of the reservoir. The villagers unearthed the entrance to a cave system that plunged to a depth of 100 feet. This incredible find was named the Longyu Caves. Unknown builders had carved out an astonishing 320,000 square feet of galleries, complete with separate rooms, bridges, pools, and supporting columns. The cave walls are adorned with strange carved lines and patterns. To this day, scientists have no definitive answers about who built these caves or their purpose. The construction methods employed remain a profound mystery. Then there was Antonio Stradivari, who lived in Italy in the 18th century. Imagine stepping into a dusty antique shop, a repository of forgotten treasures and curious relics. Within, amidst the clutter and shadows, a peculiar object catches your eye. An ancient, folded parchment. It's a world map, yet unsettlingly different. The familiar continents are gone, replaced by the marked locations of 4 legendary lost worlds. Suddenly, a voice breaks the silence. It's Mr. Bright, the shop's enigmatic owner. Noticing your captivated gaze, he approaches. "This map," he says, his eyes twinkling with untold stories, "won't lead you to these places, but I can share the legends behind them." He pauses, then begins, "Let's start with Atlantis." The name itself conjures images of Aquaman's underwater kingdom, but the tale of Atlantis stretches back further. The Greek philosopher Plato first introduced this fictional island in his writings. He described Atlantis as a civilization of immense power and technological advancement, existing some 9,000 years before his own time. This story, passed down through generations of poets and writers, served as a cautionary tale, a lesson on the perils of arrogance and the inevitable downfall of those consumed by the pursuit of power. According to Plato, Atlantis was a vast and influential empire, revered throughout the ancient world. Its founders were beings of mixed heritage, part deity, part human. The island, rich in gold, silver, and other precious metals, became a formidable naval power. Its breathtaking architecture, cutting-edge technology, and abundance of rare and exotic wildlife were legendary. The Atlanteans, proud of their accomplishments, grew arrogant. Believing themselves superior, they sought to dominate the world. Their ambition led to a series of invasions, conquering vast territories in the Mediterranean. But their hubris proved their undoing. When they attempted to conquer Athens, the Athenians, with extraordinary resilience, repelled the invaders. Enraged by the Atlanteans' wickedness, greed, and immorality, the gods unleashed a cataclysmic punishment. Earthquakes shook the island, and Atlantis, along with its magnificent civilization, sank beneath the waves. Although Plato's writings are the earliest known records of Atlantis, many have sought to find a basis of truth within the legend. Some have proposed locations in the Mediterranean Sea, near the coasts of Spain or Italy. Others have suggested the Caribbean, off the shores of Central or South America. However, concrete evidence has remained elusive. One compelling theory links Atlantis to the island of Santorini in the Aegean Sea. There, a highly advanced Minoan civilization once thrived. Around 3,600 years ago, a colossal volcanic eruption devastated the island, causing the sudden disappearance of the Minoan civilization. These parallels between the fictional Atlanteans and the historical Minoans offer a tantalizing glimpse into the possible origins of the Atlantis myth. But the mystery of Atlantis, its rise and fall, continues to fuel the imagination, a testament to the enduring power of legend. Centuries later, the echoes of ancient craftsmanship still resonate. Consider Antonio Stradivari, the legendary Italian luthier who lived from 1644 to 1737. Over 600 of his creations survive to this day, with approximately 500 being violins. One of these instruments fetched a staggering $16 million at auction. The violins crafted by Stradivari possess a uniquely clear and resonant sound, a quality that has baffled researchers for generations. The secret to their unparalleled sound may lie in the varnish Stradivari applied to his instruments. Or perhaps it resides in the wood itself. During that era, Europe experienced a colder climate, resulting in denser wood. Instruments crafted from this wood produced a sound particularly pleasing to the human ear. Across the globe, in the bustling Indian city of Delhi, stands a towering iron pillar, a testament to ancient metallurgical skill. This structure, reaching a height of 23 feet and weighing 6.5 tons, is composed of 98% wrought iron. Remarkably, this 1,600-year-old pillar exhibits no signs of rust or decay. Scientists speculate that the pillar's exceptional preservation is due to the region's dry climate and the unique chemical composition of the metal. It appears to possess an inherent resistance to corrosion. Yet the precise methods employed by the ancient blacksmiths to create such a durable iron pillar remain a mystery, a feat that challenges even modern metallurgists. On another world, on the surface of Mars, rests the ALH 84001 rock, a geological curiosity. This rock is divided into two distinct sections by an unnervingly straight fissure. Each boulder rests upon a small natural pedestal. Some have proposed this as evidence of ancient laser technology, a sign of extraterrestrial activity. However, geologists offer a different explanation. They believe the split occurred due to gradual ground shifting and subtle vibrations within the rock. Over thousands of years, this process led to the formation and deepening of the crack, ultimately resulting in the distinct form we observe today. Imagine, if you will, the island of Santorini, a jewel in the Aegean Sea. Could this be the legendary Atlantis, swallowed by the waves? The ancient Minoans certainly left their mark here, making it a tempting candidate for those seeking the lost city. Yet, like all such speculations, major flaws persist. Plato's timeline for Atlantis' destruction simply doesn't align with the actual eruption of Santorini. And so, Atlantis remains what it always has been, a captivating legend, a story whispered in the halls of science, but never confirmed. Now, let's journey northeast, across the map. Our guide points us towards the shores of Brittany in France. Here, Celtic mythology speaks of a magnificent city, also known as Caris. This was no ordinary settlement. It was a beacon of wealth and splendor, the most opulent city on the Atlantic coast. Imagine its beauty, breathtaking gardens, magnificent buildings, and a populace living in blissful contentment. At the heart of this legend is Dahut, daughter of King Gradlon, a figure deeply enamored with the sea. She implored her father to build a city on the very edge of the ocean, and thus Is was born. But fate, as it often does, had a cruel twist in store. The city, vulnerable to the relentless sea, was protected by an immense dike fortified with floodgates. These gates, the city's only defense against the ocean's fury, could only be opened at low tide, and the sole keeper of their keys was the king himself. One fateful day, a mysterious and handsome red knight arrived at Wis, seeking entry. Dahut, instantly captivated, yearned to grant him access. Knowing her father held the only key, she crept into his chamber and, driven by infatuation, stole it. The key was given to the Red Knight, and the gates swung open. But this was no ordinary knight. He was, in truth, a prince of darkness. With a malevolent intent, he left the gate ajar, exposing rise to the wrath of the raging sea. The waves crashed in, mercilessly swallowing the city whole. King Gradlon, astride his enchanted horse, managed to escape the deluge. Dahut, however, suffered a far more tragic fate. She was transformed into a siren, forever doomed to lure sailors to their watery graves. Today, in Quimper, a city in Brittany, a statue stands, depicting King Gradlon on his valiant steed. Though Wise remains a legend, the locals whisper that on calm days, if one listens closely, the faint tolling of the city's submerged bells can still be heard, echoing from the depths of the sea. Our journey now takes us far to the east, as our guide directs our attention to the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean. Have you ever heard of Lemuria? Back in the mid-1800s, a revolutionary idea took hold. The notion of a lost continent nestled in the Indian Ocean, somewhere south of modern-day Sri Lanka. The British lawyer and zoologist Philip Lutley Sclater was one of the first to popularize this theory. In his groundbreaking paper, The Mammals of Madagascar, he presented a startling discovery. Lemur fossils found in India, but conspicuously absent in Africa. This defied conventional wisdom, as Madagascar, the lemur's natural habitat, lies far closer to Africa. Sclater proposed a bold solution: a vast submerged continent that once connected India and Madagascar, allowing the lemurs to migrate. He named this lost land Lemuria, and a new theory was born. Later proponents of this theory expanded on Sclater's idea, suggesting that Lemuria was not only a land bridge, but also the home of an extinct race of humans, the Lemurians. These beings, according to legend, possessed 4 arms, gigantic bodies, and were the ancestors of both modern humans and, of course, the lemurs themselves. However, as scientific understanding advanced, fueled by discoveries in plate tectonics, evolutionary biology, and DNA analysis, the theories surrounding Lemuria gradually lost their credibility. Finally, our journey concludes with a look at another fictional land, Agartha. Taking root in Eastern mysticism, a legend speaks of a hidden kingdom deep beneath the Earth's surface. Agartha, it is said, connects all 4 corners of the world through a network of secret paths and tunnels. According to some beliefs, a hidden entrance to Agartha lies concealed within the Gobi Desert, constructed by the Agarthans themselves using advanced technology invisible to surface dwellers. The purpose of Agartha, some believe, is to counterbalance the energies of the world above. While we on the surface live in a state of constant frenzy and heightened emotion, Agartha exists in tranquil serenity. Some even speculate that the survivors of Atlantis fled to Agartha, seeking refuge within the Earth's core. Others imagine a subterranean realm teeming with monstrous creatures. But fear not, for modern science has revealed that the Earth's core is not hollow, but a solid, intensely hot ball of iron. So, you can safely cancel any plans for a journey to the center of the Earth. Hold the phone. Forget the sands of Egypt for a moment. A new contender has emerged, potentially rewriting the history books. Imagine, if you will, a structure far older than the pyramids of Giza, a relic from the last ice age. We're talking about a possible pyramid in West Java, Indonesia. Gunung Padang. At first glance, Gunung Padang doesn't exactly scream ancient pyramid. It appears more like a large, overgrown mound, scattered with colossal stones, weathered by millennia. But the local people have always held this place in high regard, a sacred site passed down through generations. And it wasn't until recently that Indonesian authorities decided to delve deeper, to unearth the secrets hidden beneath the surface. Initial excavations revealed the remnants of a human settlement, a surprising find considering the mound's elevated location. These digs provided evidence of human presence dating back to 45 BCE. But the real breakthrough came from an Indonesian geologist, Danny Hilman Natawidjaja, who set out to prove that Gunung Padang was, in fact, the world's oldest pyramid. Hillman employed cutting-edge technology to bolster his claim. He used carbon dating, a method that allows scientists to peer deep into the Earth's past by analyzing soil samples. What he discovered were layer upon layer of construction, like uncovering the ruins of Rome, with ancient buildings buried beneath the modern city. His research suggested the presence of caverns and even chambers deep within the structure. What could this mean? The hand of humankind. The rocks that adorn the mound, according to Hillman's theory, were strategically placed by the ancient inhabitants. These people, perhaps seeking a place for meditation and reflection, arranged the stones in a deliberate, harmonious pattern. The smooth surfaces of these stones were not merely the result of natural erosion, but the work of skilled artisans, the Michelangelos of their time. If this theory holds true, it would revolutionize our understanding of human civilization. It would suggest that our Paleolithic ancestors, previously thought incapable of such feats, possessed the knowledge and skills to construct pyramids. They would have needed advanced masonry skills, a level of expertise not typically associated with the last ice age. However, Hillman's claims have met with skepticism from some of his peers. Critics argue that without concrete evidence, such as charcoal or bone fragments, there is no definitive proof of a pyramid. Flint Dibble, another archaeologist, suggests that the data only proves that the soil dates back 27,000 years. He believes the rocks simply tumbled down the hill, as rocks often do. He argues that only a complex, organized society could have built a stepped pyramid of this magnitude. Bill Farley, an American archaeologist, adds that there is little evidence to suggest any substantial human settlements existed in Indonesia during the last ice age. Currently, the oldest known complex society capable of such feats is believed to be around 11,000 years old, located in modern-day Turkey. Consider Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. While not a pyramid, it stands as the oldest known monolithic construction created by humans during the Neolithic period. This site shows clear evidence of settlements, including walls adorned with ancient drawings depicting clothing and wild animals. Until recently, the title of world's oldest pyramid belonged to the Pyramid of Djoser in Egypt. This three-sided structure, located in Saqqara, a few miles south of the Giza complex, has long captured the imagination. It even appeared in European paintings of the 18th century, as young men on their grand tour made Saqqara a must-see destination. It also featured in the video game Assassin's Creed, with a surprisingly accurate digital representation. In ancient Egypt, pyramid construction was a significant undertaking, dedicated to housing kings in their afterlife. And while the Great Pyramid of Khufu might be the most famous, Djoser's pyramid predates it by approximately 70 years. But the story doesn't end there. New technologies are constantly allowing archaeologists to make groundbreaking discoveries. A newly discovered, or rather, ancient pyramid in South America may soon enter the debate. It appears that pyramids were also quite fashionable in the Americas during ancient times. Among the most recognizable are the iconic pyramids of Tikal in Guatemala, the very same ones that appeared in Star Wars, Episode 4. However, to find the oldest pyramid in the Americas, one must journey to Peru. Deep within the Peruvian desert, archaeologists have unearthed a sprawling ancient metropolis known as Caral. Initially, researchers believed the settlement to be relatively recent, as the site's complexity seemed beyond the capabilities of ancient technology. Caral, a desert city, evokes images of Las Vegas, but without all the glitz and glamour. Imagine a world thousands of years in the past. Picture thriving cities, but far from any readily available water source. This meant that survival hinged on ingenious solutions. For these ancient metropolises to flourish, they required elaborate and extensive irrigation systems, a testament to the technological prowess of their builders. And this brings us to a remarkable discovery in Peru. Archaeologists were astonished by the scale and complexity of a site, complete with an amphitheater, residential dwellings, and religious structures. This sprawling urban center, covering an estimated 370 acres, has rewritten our understanding of early civilizations. Initial hypotheses were put to the test using radiocarbon dating, revealing that this city likely emerged around 2627 BCE. The site yielded 6 pyramids, potentially predating the famed step pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara in Egypt. It appears these two great civilizations, separated by vast oceans, coexisted during the same epoch. However, pinpointing the precise age of the pyramids at Caral remains a challenge, leaving the question of which civilization achieved this architectural feat first shrouded in mystery. If only we could glimpse into the past. Intriguingly, the pyramid form itself is not solely a product of human ingenuity. Nature, in its own way, crafts similar structures, often leaving modern observers perplexed. A prime example lies off the coast of Japan, in the waters near Yonaguni. This underwater formation, often dubbed Japan's Atlantis, is immense, spanning an area equivalent to 5 football fields and rising to the height of a 5-story building. Explorers and scientists speculate that the Yonaguni monument dates back as far as 10,000 years ago. Professor Masaki Kimura, a leading marine geologist in Japan, believes Yonaguni to be the legacy of a lost civilization. Over the past decade, Kimura has explored the submerged ruins more than 100 times. To him, the evidence of human intervention is undeniable. Consider, for instance, a triangular-shaped pool carved into the monument's surface. Kimura interprets this feature as a deliberate creation, pointing to the triangle as a historical symbol for water fountains in the region. However, as is often the case with such discoveries, not all scientists are in agreement. Skeptics argue that the Yonaguni monument is simply the result of millennia of natural erosion. The fact that the monument is composed of a single, massive rock formation leads them to believe it is not of human origin. These colossal basalt columns, while resembling the ruins of an ancient palace, are more likely the product of intense volcanic activity that once gripped the region. Speaking of natural formations that mimic human construction, the so-called pyramid on Mars has recently ignited fervent debate. The quest to find evidence of life on Mars has driven some to make extraordinary claims, suggesting that extraterrestrial beings constructed a pyramid on the Red Planet as a foundation for their own civilization. The image in question, captured over a decade ago by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, MRO, has resurfaced, depicting what appears to be a three-sided pyramid. Proponents of the alien construction theory argue that the pyramid's smooth faces could only be the result of otherworldly engineering. However, scientific analysis offers a more terrestrial explanation. Mars is home to one of the largest canyon systems in the solar system, and this pyramid is located within the Kandor-Chasma region. This area is characterized by numerous similar formations that are, in reality, the product of extensive erosion over eons. No supernatural forces at play here, apparently. And what of the mysterious doorway discovered in Antarctica? Some have speculated that it could be the entrance to Bigfoot's hidden lair, a portal for alien spacecraft from Star Trek, or even the gateway to Agartha, a mythical kingdom believed to reside at the Earth's core. Scientists, however, offer a more grounded explanation. The doorway is located in an area of fast sea ice off the coast, dotted with small islands surrounded by shallow waters. The movement of ice around submerged, hardened rocks can create patterns that appear unusual, but are perfectly natural in this environment. The ice is thin, allowing the underlying rocks to significantly influence its movement. Furthermore, the harsh winds of Antarctica sculpt the ice and snow, creating lines and shapes that can be misleading. In essence, the mysterious doorway is simply a rocky ridge protruding from the ice, exposed by partial melting. The top of the doorway is the tip of the rock, while the sides are snowy trails carved by the relentless winds. It's essentially an iceberg that has become grounded and is slowly melting in place. Adding to the Antarctic mysteries, a YouTuber recently discovered another intriguing object more than 150 miles offshore. A colossal ice ship measuring 400 feet in length. The internet erupted with theories, some suggesting the vessel had somehow drifted from the Bermuda Triangle. However, concrete evidence supporting the ship hypothesis was lacking, and many suspected it was simply a large, unusually shaped piece of ice. Further investigation by other internet sleuths revealed that the ice formation has since melted, further casting doubt on its nautical nature. Imagine, centuries ago, a colossal barrier snakes across the landscape. The Great Wall of China, a testament to human ambition and engineering prowess. But this wasn't just a simple barrier. It was a complex system of defense, trade, and espionage. Some doors, cleverly disguised, served as points of exchange with those on the other side. Through these smaller openings, individuals would stealthily slip out, tasked with gathering intelligence on the enemy lurking beyond the wall. These hidden gates also served as launch pads for surprise attacks. Picture this: seemingly solid brickwork concealing a secret passage. The enemy, oblivious to its presence, remains unaware of the impending assault. Chinese soldiers, concealed within a hollow section of the wall, could emerge, dismantling the camouflaged gate from within and unleashing a sudden, devastating attack. While the primary objective was to keep outsiders at bay, the wall wasn't foolproof. It could be scaled, circumvented, its vast length presenting an unavoidable vulnerability. Therefore, constant vigilance was paramount. Guards maintained a watchful eye, signaling to the troops below at the first sign of approaching adversaries. The wall, however, bought precious time, allowing the country to mobilize its forces, bolstering defenses or strategically luring enemy troops into unfavorable positions. Construction ceased at the close of the 19th century. Technological advancements rendered the wall obsolete as a strategic military asset. Today, a mere 8% of this monumental structure remains in good condition. The relentless forces of nature and the impact of human activity have taken their toll. Approximately 1/3 of the wall has vanished entirely, lost to erosion and human intervention. Perhaps it's more accurate to describe it now as a pretty good wall, a shadow of its former glory. The earliest sections of the wall were constructed from rammed earth and wood. While formidable in their time, these materials are hardly impervious to the ravages of millennia. Destructive farming practices have transformed vast expanses into desert, exacerbating erosion. In the last century, countless bricks were pilfered from the wall, repurposed for the construction of farms and houses. Even today, the wall continues to be deconstructed, stone by stone, often by tourists seeking a unique souvenir. Consider the sheer volume of stones removed when over 10 million tourists visit the Great Wall annually. Recognizing its profound significance to humanity, UNESCO designated the Great Wall a World Heritage Site in 1987. It stands as one of China's 56 World Heritage Sites, placing the nation second only to Italy, which boasts 58 such landmarks. But the Great Wall is more than just a tourist attraction. It's also the venue for the Great Wall Marathon. Established in 1999, this grueling race is renowned as one of the most challenging marathons on Earth. Participants traverse the wall itself, navigating its countless steps. With options for a full marathon, 26 miles, a half marathon, 13 miles, and a 5-mile fun run, the event caters to a range of fitness levels. Now, let's shift our focus. Imagine it's night, and you're about to enter the final resting place of Pharaoh Tutankhamun, the Boy King. You're armed with a flashlight, but the darkness is still oppressive. Descending into the depths, you notice the walls adorned with intricate hieroglyphs and what appears to be a chilling spell. Those who take anything from this place will be doomed for life. Even if you're not superstitious, a shiver runs down your spine. You encounter a massive stone door. Is it a trap? With considerable effort, you manage to open it, only to find an empty chamber. Consulting your map, you press onward. But after what seems like an eternity, you realize you're lost in a labyrinth. You attempt to retrace your steps, but the entrance has vanished. Panic sets in. You've fallen victim to the Pharaoh's trap. To make matters worse, you forgot to pack a lunch. We've all seen those Hollywood movies where intrepid explorers confront elaborate and deadly traps in ancient ruins. We've been led to believe that Egyptian royalty protected their tombs with venomous scorpions, snakes, sliding doors designed to imprison intruders, and colossal rolling boulders capable of crushing anyone in their path. But were these traps truly real? The truth, unfortunately, is far less dramatic. Such sophisticated traps were beyond the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations. This isn't to say that no protective measures were employed. Ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians and the Mayans, were known for constructing elaborate monuments dedicated to the deceased. These structures often reflected the individual's status in society. For the most important figures, massive monuments were erected to house their remains for eternity. Many of these civilizations believed that life continued in the afterlife. Imagine a journey to the bottom of the world, to the icy continent of Antarctica. Here, mysteries lie frozen, waiting to be uncovered. For years, explorers and scientists have braved the harsh conditions, and their discoveries are rewriting our understanding of this remote land. Once, a peculiar formation spotted on Google Maps ignited the imagination. A pyramid in Antarctica. Could it be evidence of an ancient civilization, perhaps a secret outpost built by the Egyptians? Alas, the truth was less sensational, but no less fascinating. The pyramid turned out to be simply a mountain, a part of the colossal transantarctic mountain range, which stretches for nearly 250 miles. It's a rugged, imposing landscape, sculpted by eons of ice and wind. And this wasn't the first time a mountain in Antarctica had been mistaken for a pyramid. Early explorers from a British expedition had previously given a similar nickname to another oddly shaped peak. But don't despair. Antarctica still holds wonders that defy easy explanation. Picture this: a colossal ice shelf carved by the relentless forces of nature into a form reminiscent of the Grand Canyon. To explore this frozen labyrinth, scientists deployed a specialized submarine robot named RAN. This intrepid machine ventured over 600 meters beneath the thick ice, sending back breathtaking footage of icy mountains, deep valleys, vast plateaus, and swirling patterns sculpted entirely from ice. One of the most bizarre discoveries was a series of giant, ball-shaped holes, or scoops, carved into the ice. What could have created these enigmatic formations? Sadly, the mission of RAN came to an unexpected end. Scientists suspect that curious Weddell seals, known for their playful nature, may have inadvertently bumped into the robot, causing it to become stuck. To conserve power, RAN likely shut itself down, and despite the team's best efforts, they were unable to locate it again. But the dream of exploration lives on. The team hopes to build a new and improved robot to continue exploring this icy canyon, to monitor how the patterns beneath the ice change over time, and to unlock the secrets of this frozen world. And the discoveries keep coming. Another enormous canyon was unearthed in Antarctica, thanks to a stroke of luck brought about by bad weather. A team of sound experts, temporarily sidelined from their work at the Casey Research Station by a raging storm, decided to use their unexpected downtime to map the seafloor near the Adams Glacier. Their efforts revealed a canyon of truly epic proportions, almost 7,000 feet deep, nearly 30,000 feet wide, and stretching over 28 miles away from the glacier. Initially, their mapping efforts captured only a portion of the canyon, but when another bout of severe weather rolled in, the research vessel returned to the site. Battling waves up to 13 feet high and ferocious winds, the team persevered, collecting about 15 hours of data to complete their map. On their return journey to Australia, they made one final stop, finally capturing a complete picture of this underwater marvel. Studying this cane is providing invaluable insights into the history of glaciers and the complex interplay between the Antarctic ice sheet and the ocean. Now, let's turn our attention to another intriguing location. Lake Enigma, a frozen lake in the heart of Antarctica. For many years, it was believed that this lake was completely solid ice. However, during an expedition, researchers made a startling discovery. Beneath the thick ice, a layer of liquid water, roughly 40 feet deep, persisted. Intrigued, they drilled through the ice and lowered a camera to explore the hidden depths. The lake water, believed to originate from the nearby Amorphous Glacier through a network of underground pathways, teemed with strange microbial life. These tiny organisms formed mats that carpeted the lake bed. Some of these mats were thin and spiky, while others resembled crumpled carpets or even small tree-like structures reaching up to 16 inches in height. Many of these microbes, like plants, were capable of producing their own food through photosynthesis, resulting in a high concentration of oxygen in the lake. One of the most remarkable finds was a type of microbe typically found in low-oxygen environments. The unique conditions of Lake Enigma may mirror those found on icy moons like Europa or Enceladus, suggesting that these celestial bodies may also harbor hidden water beneath their icy surfaces, and possibly even microbial life. And the surprises don't end there. Imagine finding tiny pieces of amber, the fossilized resin of ancient trees, embedded in Antarctic mudstone. This remarkable discovery, the first of its kind on the continent, took years of painstaking study. Scientists analyzed incredibly well-preserved, fossilized roots, pollen, and spores, originally collected in 2017. The presence of amber provides definitive proof that resin-producing trees once thrived in Antarctica, forming part of a lush rainforest that flourished near the South Pole during the mid-Cretaceous period, millions of years ago. Back then, these trees would have had to endure months of darkness during the long Antarctic winters. Scientists believe they adapted to these harsh conditions by entering a state of dormancy for extended periods. The amber fragments, though small, boast beautiful shades of yellow and orange, their bumpy surfaces bearing witness to the flow of resin from the ancient trees. This resin, likely secreted to protect the trees from insects, was preserved thanks to rapid submersion in water, which shielded it from sunlight and air. Finally, consider the role of modern technology in these discoveries. A scientist, while sifting through satellite images in search of brown trails of penguin waste, a telltale sign of penguin colonies, stumbled upon 4 previously unknown colonies of emperor penguins at the bottom of the globe. These new colonies, likely in existence for years, vary in size, with 3 of them being relatively small. Imagine, if you will, the vast, icy expanse of Antarctica, a land seemingly untouched by time. Here, amidst the biting winds and endless white, life finds a way. We witness thousands upon thousands of emperor penguins, those majestic birds of the south, engaging in their ancient breeding rituals. Each newly discovered colony nestles close to the Lazarev ice shelf, a place steeped in penguin history. It was here, near the Lazarev ice shelf, that a larger penguin colony once thrived. Scientists believed this colony had vanished, perhaps succumbing to the harsh realities of the Antarctic. But it appears these resilient creatures have simply relocated, adapting to the ever-shifting sea ice conditions. Their story offers a vital glimpse into how emperor penguins, those icons of the frozen south, are learning to survive in a world undergoing dramatic environmental changes. By studying these penguins, we hope to unlock the secrets of their adaptability and resilience. But the secrets of Antarctica run far deeper than the present day. Let's journey back millions of years, a staggering 40 million years to be precise, to a time when this icy continent was a vastly different place. Imagine a landscape where a colossal river system carved its way across the land. Researchers have now uncovered definitive proof of this ancient waterway, hidden beneath the frozen seabed. Their investigation began with meticulous examination of soft sediments and the unyielding grip of hard rocks. They delved into the microscopic world of radioactive elements like uranium and lead, unlocking the secrets held within their atomic structure. The deeper layers of sediment they discovered dated back to the age of dinosaurs, a time when these colossal reptiles ruled the Earth. As they moved closer to the surface, the dirt revealed a more recent history, displaying a remarkable pattern, strikingly similar to the river deltas we see today, such as the mighty Mississippi River or the Rio Grande. Within these ancient sands, scientists even found faint traces of life, whispers from a bygone era. This prehistoric river, a titan of its time, originated in the Transantarctic Mountains, a formidable range that bisects the continent. From its source, it snaked its way across the landscape for an astonishing 930 miles before emptying into the sea. Researchers continue their painstaking analysis of the more recent sediment layers, those laid down approximately 20 million years ago. Their hope is that these ancient records will provide invaluable insights, allowing them to predict the Earth's future weather patterns, helping us understand the forces that shape our planet's climate. Imagine a world where death is not the end, but a transition. In ancient Egypt, this belief was paramount. When someone passed on, especially someone of high status, they were often interred with the possessions they enjoyed in life. A pharaoh with immense wealth and power would have his tomb overflowing with riches, gold, and precious artifacts. Now picture yourself as an adventurer in ancient Egypt. You know the location of the pharaoh's tombs. Whispers of unimaginable wealth, rooms stacked high with golden treasures, glittering jewels, and untold riches fill your ears. Temptation beckons, doesn't it? No security guards stand watch, but the ancient Egyptians were far from naive. They devised ingenious methods to safeguard their treasures. One common tactic was constructing false chambers within the tomb. These empty rooms were designed to mislead and disorient any would-be burglar. Consider the final resting place of Amenhotep III, built in the city of Luxor, in the area known as the Western Valley of the Kings. Discovered by French engineers between 1905 and 1914, this monumental structure boasts over 10 chambers, connected by a maze of long corridors and steep stairways. The king's chamber, the true prize, remained deeply hidden. An intruder would likely stumble through numerous empty rooms, a frustrating and time-consuming ordeal. Other pharaohs employed different strategies. They commissioned monuments with false doors, concealing treacherous pits as deep as 20 feet. An unwary intruder, focused on riches, would suddenly find themselves plunging into a dark abyss, their quest abruptly ended. Alongside these deceptive doors, labyrinthine corridors and false walls were constructed. Robbers could spend days, lost and confused, before ever reaching the king's true chamber. What about pits filled with poisonous snakes? While the idea is compelling, the reality is less dramatic. Any reptiles found within these monuments likely wandered in on their own. There's simply no way snakes could survive for years, even decades, without a food source in such an enclosed space. So, another Hollywood myth dispelled. If these traps seem underwhelming, consider a more intriguing deterrent found in the tomb of the Red Queen of Palenque in Mexico. Palenque, one of the most powerful Mayan cities in pre-Columbian Mexico, honored the Red Queen, believed to be the grandmother of the last Mayan king, with a magnificent monument. The discovery of the tomb itself was a major event. In 1994, archaeologists unearthed an ancient monument. Their initial find was a room concealing a hidden door. Behind that door lay a long corridor leading to the queen's chamber. Excitement surged as the team prepared to unearth the mummy of the queen, still adorned with her pearls, jade, shells, and precious stones. But as they explored the chamber, they noticed something strange. The entire room was coated in a vivid red powder. Researchers knew that the color red held significant cultural meaning for the Mayan people, adorning their clothing and buildings. But why was the queen buried with this mysterious substance? Samples were taken for analysis, revealing the powder to be cinnabar, a highly toxic mineral. Inhalation of cinnabar can cause severe health problems. The team concluded that this was a carefully designed trap, meant to deter anyone seeking to plunder the queen's riches. Perhaps the most economical method of protecting a tomb was simply advertising its cursed nature. Spells and warnings were inscribed throughout the monument. We might scoff at such pronouncements today, but in ancient times they carried considerable weight. These spells typically warned that anyone who dared to steal from the tomb would meet a tragic fate, losing their homes to fire or flood, or succumbing to incurable diseases. Of course, these curses weren't always enough to deter determined thieves. However, some stories suggest that these spells may have possessed a genuine power. Consider the tale of Howard Carter, the renowned British Egyptologist who discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun in the 1920s. After months of fruitless searching, Carter stumbled upon the tomb's entrance, a stairway hidden beneath the very ground he had been excavating. Imagine, if you will, months turning into a seemingly endless quest. With unwavering determination, a team meticulously cleared away the mountains of sand that had, for ages, concealed a hidden staircase. And then, a breakthrough. A doorway. Carved into the ancient wood were royal symbols, unmistakable signs that a person of immense importance lay entombed within. Howard Carter knew he was on the verge of something extraordinary. With painstaking care, he used a chisel to create a small opening in the upper left corner of the door. Holding a candle aloft, he peered through the gap. What he saw defied belief. The dazzling reflection of gold and jewels, a treasure trove filling the chamber before him. Lost for 3 millennia, the final resting place of King Tutankhamun had been found. But the discovery wasn't the end of the story. It was perhaps only the beginning of a darker chapter. A series of inexplicable events followed, fueling whispers of an ancient curse, a pharaoh's wrath unleashed. Carter himself met an untimely end just a few years later. Some of his associates suffered devastating losses, their homes destroyed by floods, mirroring the very disasters warned of in ancient spells. Was it merely coincidence? Or was there a more sinister force at play? Was this elaborate tomb in the end a trap? Now, let's journey to another site, a place of wonder and enduring mystery. Before us stands one of the most majestic monuments ever conceived, a testament to human ingenuity, yet still harboring secrets that defy explanation. This is the Great Sphinx of Giza in Egypt. Picture this colossal sculpture, a lion's body with a human head, hewn from solid rock some 4,500 years ago. Yet, despite its imposing presence, the Sphinx remains an enigma. Scientists and archaeologists are still unable to pinpoint the exact date of its creation, nor can they definitively say who built it or for what purpose. Theories abound, but concrete proof remains elusive. Most of us have seen images of this magnificent statue, or perhaps even stood in its shadow. But few know what lies beneath. The Sphinx, Horemheb to the ancient Egyptians, was carved from a single massive piece of limestone. Remnants of pigment on its surface reveal that it was once painted, its colors vibrant and bold. Even after millennia of weathering, its grandeur remains undiminished. The name Sphinx, interestingly enough, was bestowed upon it by the Greeks centuries after its creation. The ancient Egyptians knew it as Horemheb, Horus of the horizon. Legends and theories intertwine, suggesting that the Sphinx serves as a guardian, a sentinel watching over the tombs of pharaohs and the secrets of ancient Egypt. These legends gain weight with the discovery of hidden entrances at the base of the Sphinx. Archaeologists believe these secret passages may lead to a network of tunnels, ultimately reaching chambers filled with untold treasures. The internet is rife with stories of a hall of records hidden beneath the Sphinx, a repository of ancient and forbidden knowledge. This hall is said to contain the records of Atlantis, the legendary lost city. According to these tales, the entire library of Atlantis was moved beneath the sands, with the entrance located near the Sphinx's right paw. Numerous expeditions have been launched to find this entrance, all without success. Detailed diagrams circulate depicting an elaborate underground city, a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers beneath the Sphinx. Some claim there are structures as tall as 12-story buildings hidden below. But hard evidence remains elusive. Millennia after its creation, the Sphinx continues to beckon explorers and scientists. Yet many Egyptians harbor a deep-seated fear, a reluctance to delve too deeply, lest they awaken something supernatural. Back in 1998, scientists uncovered tunnels leading to empty caves beneath the Sphinx. Evidence suggested previous excavations, hinting that someone may have already discovered and removed treasures long ago. Some even whisper of an artifact, a device of immense power based on unknown advanced technologies hidden beneath the Sphinx. This artifact, they say, is capable of altering the course of history. While such theories often veer into the realm of fantasy, the existence of a network of caves and rooms beneath the Sphinx remains a confirmed fact. The sheer volume of rumors and speculation surrounding the monument makes it difficult to separate truth from fiction. Studying the Sphinx is a delicate and dangerous undertaking. Active excavations risk damaging this priceless artifact, potentially blocking the entrances to the underground chambers forever. Furthermore, exploration requires vast sums of money, and funding is not always easy to secure. But perhaps the greatest risk lies in the unknown. There is no guarantee that those who venture into the underground labyrinths will ever return. For these reasons, science and archaeology proceed with caution. We've spent what feels like an eternity exploring this majestic structure. But it's time to move on. Let's journey now to another famous architectural monument, one also guarding a secret. Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. Almost everyone has seen the iconic images of the U.S. presidents' faces carved into the granite mountainside. But few are aware of a hidden chamber concealed behind the head of Abraham Lincoln. Gutzon Borglum, the sculptor behind Mount Rushmore, originally envisioned carving slabs into the rock face, detailing pivotal moments in American history. However, the sheer complexity of the task proved too daunting. A revised plan emerged. A secret room, built within the mountain itself, would house this historical record on a smaller scale. The idea was simple, yet profound, to preserve the nation's story for future generations, ensuring they would never forget their heritage. Sadly, Borglum passed away before his vision could be fully realized. Construction was halted for decades, but in the late 1990s, the project was resurrected. Porcelain enamel panels, illustrating key moments in U.S. history, were carefully placed inside the chamber. It's likely these panels will remain there indefinitely, a time capsule sealed within the mountain's heart. For now, the room remains inaccessible to the public. The journey to reach it is simply too treacherous. Our next destination, New York City, home to the Empire State Building. Here, another secret awaits, though perhaps less of a room and more of a privileged vantage point, offering unparalleled photo opportunities. While throngs of tourists gather on the 86th floor observation deck, jostling for a glimpse of Manhattan's stunning panorama, a lesser-known deck exists on the 102nd floor. Far fewer people venture here, largely due to its relative obscurity. Fortunately, access is open to all. You likely won't face the long queues that plague the lower deck, and a sense of exclusivity washes over you as you realize you've stumbled upon a hidden gem. But the ultimate prize lies even higher, on the 103rd floor. This spacious observation deck is the domain of celebrities and VIPs, the backdrop for countless iconic photographs. It's not generally open to the public, but with the right connections, access is possible. Surprisingly, security is minimal. Only a low ledge separates you from the dizzying abyss. This is precisely why crowds are forbidden. Reaching this pinnacle is no easy feat, and you'll likely need a guide. First, you must select the correct elevator, the one that ascends to these hidden heights. Then, you'll navigate a labyrinth of engineering rooms, a maze of pipes, electrical panels, and other technical equipment. The final leg of your journey involves a narrow staircase inside a cramped enclosure, and then you emerge, standing atop New York City, the city stretching out beneath you. Now, let's transport ourselves across the Atlantic to Paris and the Eiffel Tower. While the tower boasts a restaurant and well-known observation decks, a more secretive space exists: a hidden apartment. Today, it's a museum, but it was originally designed as a private residence. Gustave Eiffel, the tower's architect and namesake, created this apartment for himself in 1889. Imagine the breathtaking views he enjoyed daily, perched high above the Parisian cityscape. He was the first and, for many years, the only tenant. After Eiffel's death, the apartment remained vacant, a silent testament to its creator. More recently, it was meticulously restored and transformed into a museum. The interior recreates the atmosphere of the late 19th century, even featuring wax figures of Gustave Eiffel, his daughter, and the renowned American inventor Thomas Edison. From the quiet solitude of Eiffel's apartment, we travel to another bustling hub, Grand Central Station in New York City. Here, amidst the constant flow of passengers, the hurried footsteps of office workers, and the echoing train whistles, a different sound can be heard: the distinct thwack of a tennis ball against a racket. Believe it or not, a real tennis court is hidden within the depths of Grand Central Station. It belongs to a private tennis club, which organizes corporate games for employees of various companies. The club has been operating since the 1960s, a secret oasis of athletic activity concealed within one of the world's busiest transportation hubs. Our journey now takes us to London, specifically Charing Cross Road. Discovering a hidden place here requires a keen eye and a focus on the ground beneath your feet. Look closely at the sewer grates embedded in the asphalt. You might notice two signs bearing the name Little Compton Street. Yes, there's another street hidden directly below you. It vanished from all maps in the late 19th century when Charing Cross Road was constructed above it. The identification signs you see are remnants of the old engineering tunnels that once serviced Little Compton Street. Our exploration of London's secrets continues in the southeastern corner of Trafalgar Square. At first glance, it appears to be a simple, thick lamppost. But as you approach, amidst the throngs of tourists, you realize that a person could easily fit inside. This isn't just any lamppost. It's the smallest police station in the world. Built in the 1930s, it served as a watch post. Officers would occupy the tiny space, one at a time, keeping a watchful eye on Trafalgar Square, ensuring order and security in this always bustling public space. For eons, our planet has been a stage for an incredible, ever-evolving drama. Imagine, if you will, our Earth in its youth, a slumbering giant slowly spinning around the sun, seemingly content in its cosmic routine. Then, without warning, bam! Life explodes onto the scene, a riot of vibrant flora and fauna, each vying for attention, showcasing a dazzling array of complexity. Now, fast forward millions of years. roughly 65 million to be precise. A cataclysmic event unfolds, a cosmic hammer blow that reshapes the very course of life on Earth. An asteroid, a celestial behemoth of unimaginable size, hurtles through the atmosphere and slams into our planet with devastating force. The impact is apocalyptic, triggering earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions. The sky darkens as dust and debris are flung into the atmosphere, blotting out the sun and plunging the world into a long, cold night. This, we believe, was the final curtain call for the dinosaurs and many other large animals. We may never know the precise details of this asteroid, but its legacy is etched in the very rocks beneath our feet. A thin layer of dust, a ghostly reminder of that day of reckoning, can still be found in sedimentary rocks around the world. Below this layer lies a treasure trove of fossils, the silent witnesses to a world teeming with life before the asteroid's arrival. It was as if the planet decided to start fresh, clearing the board and creating new opportunities for those who remained. And who stepped into the limelight? Mammals! These small, furry creatures, once relegated to the shadows, seized their chance. With the giant reptiles gone, the playing field was leveled. They diversified, multiplied, and spread across the globe, filling every available niche. From primates to rodents, from placental mammals to marsupials, even egg-laying mammals. A stunning array of new forms emerged, each adapted to its own unique way of life. Among these rising stars were the primates, the group to which we ourselves belong. What is their story? About 63 million years ago, a mere 2 million years after the dinosaurs' demise, the first primates began to differentiate. They split into two distinct groups, the haplorhini, or dry-nosed primates, which would eventually give rise to the monkeys and apes we know today, and the strepsirini, or wet-nosed primates, ancestors of the lemurs and aiaes. But the evolutionary saga didn't end there. Around 58 million years ago, within the haplorhini lineage, a new player emerged, the Tarsius. This remarkable creature, with its enormous eyes perfectly adapted for nocturnal hunting, carved its own unique path. Unlike its primate relatives, the Tarsier became a dedicated carnivore, feasting on insects, small birds, rodents, and even lizards. And it's not just their diet that sets them apart. Their eyes are proportionally larger than their brains, granting them exceptional night vision. And, like an owl, they can rotate their heads a full 180 degrees. These adaptations make the Tarsier the undisputed master of the night. With their ultrasonic hearing, they can pinpoint prey with incredible accuracy. Their powerful legs and specialized ankle bone, the tarsal, hence the name Tarsier, allow them to leap great distances, ambushing their unsuspecting victims. But let's leave these fascinating little hunters to their nocturnal pursuits and return to the grand narrative of life on Earth. Around 55 million years ago, the planet experienced a dramatic spike in temperature, a period known as the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum. This sudden warming proved too much for many deep-sea organisms and plants, leading to widespread extinctions. However, as always, extinction created opportunity. Enter the cetaceans, the ancestors of modern whales and dolphins. These early marine mammals, known as cetaceans, seized the vacated niches, evolving into the dominant predators of the seas. From the colossal blue whale, Balænoptera musculus, to the intelligent dolphin, Delphinus, the cetaceans diversified into a remarkable array of forms, each perfectly adapted to life in the ocean. Then, about 47 million years ago, a remarkable fossil was unearthed. Scientists affectionately nicknamed it Ida. This tiny primate fossil caused a sensation, initially hailed as the missing link in human evolution. The excitement was palpable, but alas, further study revealed that Ida was not a dry-nosed primate, not one of our direct ancestors, but rather a cheeky wet-nosed primate, a distant cousin on the primate family tree. Moving forward to 40 million years ago, we witness another pivotal moment in primate evolution. The New World monkeys, our distant relatives, embarked on their own evolutionary journey, branching off from the lineage of Old World monkeys. They ventured across the Atlantic, eventually colonizing South America, where their descendants thrive to this day. One key difference between these groups lies in their noses. Old World monkeys have nostrils that point downwards, while New World monkeys have nostrils that point sideways. Around 25 million years ago, another significant group of primates appeared on the scene: the apes. These unique creatures possessed a defining characteristic: the absence of a tail. This seemingly small change paved the way for dramatic evolutionary developments. These tailless apes would eventually give rise to our closest relatives, the great apes, including chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. It is this group that shares the greatest genetic similarity with us, a testament to our shared ancestry and the long, winding road of evolution. The first ape, too. Let's journey back roughly 18 million years. Picture a lively scene. The gibbon, a true acrobat of the primate world, swinging onto the evolutionary stage. These energetic creatures, masters of their arboreal domain, marked a significant chapter in primate evolution. Fast forward a few million years, and we witness the grand entrance of the great apes. Among these early pioneers, the orangutans bravely ventured into the untamed wilderness of southern Asia. Imagine these intelligent, orange-furred primates navigating the dense forests, their presence a testament to the adaptability and resilience of life. The clock continues its relentless march toward the present. Around 7 million years ago, the great apes reached a crucial crossroads, a major fork in their evolutionary path. One road veered towards our own ancestors, the future Homo sapiens. The other path led to the chimpanzees and bonobos, our closest living relatives. For a few million years, these two primate lineages remained intertwined, their destinies seemingly aligned. But eventually, they too would embark on their own separate journeys. Approximately 5.6 million years ago, a game-changing ape known as Ardipithecus, Ardipithecus ramidus, emerged, forever altering the course of our evolutionary history. This remarkable creature possessed a unique talent: bipedalism. That's right, Ardipithecus was among the first apes to walk on 2 feet. Picture the scene. Other primates, perhaps a bit bewildered, raising an eyebrow or two at this novel mode of locomotion. However, the real showstoppers arrived around 4 million years ago. The Australopithecus crew. These were the earliest members of the hominin subtribe, the tribe to which we belong. What made them so special? Perhaps it was their ingenuity, their ability to bring tools to the game. Stone tools, to be precise. It appears that, at some point in their evolution, these clever primates began using stones to make their lives easier. Imagine them carefully selecting rocks, shaping them into rudimentary tools, and using them to crack nuts, dig for roots, or even defend themselves. Now prepare for a crucial turning point in our story. Roughly 2 million years ago, our ancestors faced a severe food shortage. Survival of the fittest became the ultimate test. 2 distinct strategies emerged in response to this crisis. One group opted for stronger jaws, enabling them to chomp on tough, resilient foods like nuts and tubers. The other group took a different approach. They favored weaker jaws but larger brains, hoping to access a wider range of food options through intelligence and innovation. It's no surprise that the bigger-brained group ultimately prevailed, and this is where our own lineage truly comes into its own. Around 2.5 million years ago, a type of primate known as Homo habilis, handyman, made its mark on history. These clever beings possessed larger brains than their predecessors and knew how to put those neurons to good use. Picture them crafting increasingly sophisticated tools, collaborating in groups, and developing strategies for survival. Then, approximately 1.9 million years ago, a new star ascended, Homo erectus. These creatures not only walked fully upright, but also boasted brains nearly twice the size of Homo habilis. They took the world by storm, becoming the first of our direct ancestors to venture out of the African continent. Imagine them traversing vast landscapes, adapting to new environments, and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Homo erectus even mastered the use of fire, a skill that would forever transform human history. Around 700,000 years ago, the world witnessed a culinary revolution. The earliest evidence of cooking appeared, forever altering our diets and our relationship with food. And around 500,000 years ago, our ancestors decided it was time to become a bit more fashionable, donning the first evidence of clothing. Imagine them experimenting with different materials, crafting garments to protect themselves from the elements, and perhaps even expressing their individuality. Our very own species, Homo sapiens, arrived relatively late to the party, just 300,000 years ago. But the world would never be the same after our appearance. Alongside our other relatives, we emerged ready to conquer the world with our innovative minds and complex societies. The exact path of our evolution remains somewhat shrouded in mystery, but we know for sure that Neanderthals, Homo neanderthalensis, joined the party at some point too. As Homo sapiens flourished, so did our capacity for language. Modern speech is believed to have emerged almost hand in hand with our species. We began expressing ourselves, sharing stories, and shaping the world with our words. Imagine the power of language, the ability to communicate complex ideas, to build relationships, and to transmit knowledge across generations. So, there you have it. It took 13.8 billion years of cosmic history for humans to finally make their entrance. Think about it. For 99.99 to 98% of the time since the Big Bang, we weren't even around. Our species, Homo sapiens, is the toddler of the Earth's family, existing for just the tiniest fraction of the universe's timeline. Yet, in this blink of an eye, we've managed to unravel the entire story that led to our existence. The story won't end with us. It's an ongoing saga, still being written with every passing moment. Whenever you hear about ancient ruins, you almost never picture them suspended in midair or randomly hanging from a tree branch, right? In fact, for most of the ancient artifacts displayed in museums around the world, archaeologists undertook a considerable amount of digging. You see, buildings have a peculiar tendency to fade away over time if they're not properly maintained. Sometimes we need to reuse building materials, so older structures may be sacrificed in the process. Other times, houses are simply abandoned, and once exposed to the elements, rain, sunlight, wind, they don't stand much of a chance. Some just crumble away due to good old erosion. So, the only way a piece of architecture can truly survive the test of time is if it somehow gets buried deep underground. Now, how did these structures end up buried in the first place? Well, it's quite the comedy of errors. Ancient cities had a habit of gradually raising their ground level, like a kid adding toppings to an ice cream sundae. Imagine, millions of years ago, early human settlements are bustling with activity. These communities were perpetually busy, tirelessly gathering food and collecting building materials, all in a constant effort to sustain their ever-expanding populations. But let's be honest, dealing with waste and refuse wasn't exactly a priority back then. It simply wasn't high on their list of urgent tasks. So, when the time came to construct new dwellings, these ancient civilizations discovered a remarkably simple solution, one that saved them immense amounts of backbreaking labor. They would pile up the existing rubble and debris and then construct directly on top of it. Ingenious, wasn't it? But the story doesn't end there. Rivers, with their unpredictable nature, would occasionally flood, leaving behind a fresh layer of sediment that would gradually encapsulate these ancient constructions. And in arid regions like vast deserts, where the wind loved to perform its swirling dance of sand and dust, keeping settlements clean became a never-ending battle. Consider for a moment the hilarious example of the Sphinx. This iconic monument had its head almost completely buried in sand until a team of determined archaeologists unearthed it in 1817. Some ancient towns were eventually completely abandoned, disappearing beneath the sands of time. With less human activity to manage their relentless expansion, plant seeds seized the opportunity and sprouted everywhere. They greedily consumed carbon dioxide from the air, growing and adding more and more bulk to the ground. These tenacious roots even went so far as to stabilize the soil, which was formed from decaying plant matter, creating layer upon layer of earthy goodness. It was like a massive DIY project undertaken by Mother Nature herself, with plants as her loyal and ever-helpful assistants. The act of excavating and delving into the secrets of these ancient civilizations isn't simply about unearthing a lost world. It's an epic quest, a thrilling adventure to reveal the hidden treasures that lie buried beneath layers upon layers of history. But how do archaeologists even begin to know where to dig? After all, everything is concealed beneath a thick blanket of sediments, debris, and plant roots. Surely they must rely on some kind of system, some form of methodology, before embarking on a new project, right? Well, for starters, archaeologists aren't always the ones who initiate an archaeological dig in a specific location. Let's say you're a contractor, and you have grand plans to build a new luxurious apartment complex in your city. Local regulations often impose certain requirements that must be met before your project can proceed. For instance, before construction can even begin on a piece of land, you might be required to bring in specialists to carefully examine the soil. These clever individuals could be archaeologists, geologists, or even paleontologists, and they are tasked with keeping a watchful eye on things during the entire development process. If any artifacts or ecofacts, a fancy term for organic remnants, are discovered, these experts swoop in to meticulously excavate and study them. But what about those sites that have absolutely nothing to do with bulldozers and yellow hard hats? Archaeologists have more than one trick up their sleeves when it comes to locating ancient hotspots. They embark on deep dives into historical records, employing a healthy dose of detective work. By meticulously sniffing out old documents and maps, they can piece together the intricate puzzle of human activity in a specific area. If a site has been visited before, it's even better. Finding records of past excavations or historical accounts can provide archaeologists with a wealth of invaluable information, guiding them on where to continue their treasure hunt. Before archaeologists start swinging their shovels with gusto, they engage in a bit of a visual scan mission. Armed with a grid system, they'll carefully stroll around the site, keeping their eyes peeled for any artifacts that might be lurking just beneath the Earth's upper layer. From groundstone tools to historic glass and even ancient garbage dumps, yes, even those are valuable. These keen-eyed explorers can spot signs of human activity faster than most people. If they happen to stumble upon midden soil, a fancy term for a garbage dump, they know for sure that humans once called this place home. Archaeologists don't just rely on their trusty shovels, though. They have an entire arsenal of gadgets at their disposal to aid in their search for hidden wonders. Geophysical tools are like their secret weapons. Take the resistivity meter, for example. This clever contraption measures the electrical resistance of the soil and any buried features or artifacts. A buried wall, for instance, will create a different resistivity reading than the surrounding soil. Magnetometers and ground-penetrating radar work in similar ways, showcasing potential hints of ancient treasures hidden beneath the soil. And who could forget our trusty old friend, the GPS? It helps archaeologists map out precise locations, like a high-tech treasure map, leading them straight to their pot of gold. Care to virtually visit some of the most important archaeological sites in the world? Well, follow me. In the United Kingdom, for instance, you'll find this fascinating place called Stonehenge. It's just one of many henges scattered around, but this one really takes the cake. Picture this. Massive ancient stones standing tall and proud, arranged in a funky outer ring and an inner horseshoe. Imagine, if you will, a circle of colossal stones, some topped with equally massive lintels, standing sentinel against the ages. These aren't just any rocks. These are the stones of Stonehenge, weathered by millennia and steeped in mystery. And these stones, with smaller rocks added for good measure, have been standing for over 5,000 years. Talk about rock-solid endurance. Now, the story takes a turn for the fantastical. Local legend whispers of the great wizard Merlin, he of Arthurian fame, who with a flick of his wrist and a burst of magic transported these monoliths all the way from Ireland. Apparently, a band of giants had originally assembled them there, but Merlin, with his discerning eye, decided they'd look far more impressive gracing the Salisbury Plain. Others, with a more grounded perspective, suggest these are the remnants of a long-lost Roman religious structure. Regardless of their origin, we know one thing for sure. These incredible structures were erected by our Bronze Age ancestors. Armed with rudimentary tools and limited technology, they somehow managed to create this monumental masterpiece. Truly impressive, isn't it? Yet despite all our modern advancements, Stonehenge continues to guard its secrets jealously. Its original purpose remains shrouded in mystery. Theories abound, but a definitive answer eludes scientists to this day. What we do know is that Stonehenge is meticulously aligned to capture the sunrise during the summer and winter solstices, a testament to the astronomical knowledge of its builders. Now, let's journey to another equally captivating archaeological site, the ancient city of Pompeii. Picture this. Mount Vesuvius, a volcano with a notorious temper, decided to unleash its fury, blanketing the entire Roman city in ash and pumice. This catastrophic event, while devastating, inadvertently transformed Pompeii into a time capsule, preserving a moment in history for millennia to come. Located near modern-day Naples, Italy, Pompeii remained hidden until 1748, when a group of intrepid explorers stumbled upon its buried ruins. What they unearthed was a treasure trove of remarkably preserved artifacts. Streets, houses, food, perhaps a bit stale by then. Dazzling jewelry, exquisite sculptures, vibrant frescoes, everyday household items, and even the remains of animals and humans caught in the eruption. It was like stepping into an epic archaeological party frozen in time. From what we can gather, Pompeii had it all. Lavish houses and villas adorned the city, alongside a massive 20,000-seat arena for gladiatorial contests and public spectacles. Quaint artisan shops lined the streets, offering their wares to the bustling crowds. Taverns served as popular hangouts, and luxurious bathhouses offered citizens a place for relaxation and pampering. The sanctuary of Apollo served as a center for religious worship, while the Forum of Pompeii acted as the vibrant heart of the city, where citizens gathered to socialize and conduct business. And its historical significance is undeniable. Pompeii earned its place on UNESCO's World Heritage List back in 1997, solidifying its status as a site of global importance. It joins other iconic landmarks, such as the Taj Mahal in India and the Acropolis of Athens in Greece, a testament to human ingenuity and cultural heritage. Now, let's travel to 1898, where you find yourself participating in excavations in Saqqara, a sprawling necropolis not far from Cairo, Egypt. This place is riddled with ancient tombs and pyramids. You are channeling your inner Indiana Jones, hoping to unearth something truly extraordinary, something that will catapult you to fame and fortune, perhaps gold, ancient manuscripts, treasure maps, or even the mummified remains of a famous pharaoh. But wait! What's this? A wooden bird? Your initial disappointment is palpable. It appears to be nothing more than a child's toy, an old one at that, but still, just a toy. Little do you know that years later, someone would propose that this unassuming wooden bird is, in fact, a scale model of an ancient aircraft. This artifact, now known as the Saqqara bird, is crafted from sycamore wood. The small avian model has a wingspan of just 7 inches and weighs a mere 40 grams. A perfect souvenir from ancient Egypt, one might say. Estimated to be over 2,000 years old, the Saqqara bird appears rather plain, lacking any intricate carvings of feathers or other decorative elements. However, it does possess a beak and eyes, giving it the appearance of a hawk, the emblem of the deity Horus. Its tail is somewhat unusual, squared off and angled oddly upward. It appears that a section of the tail is missing, suggesting that a separate piece was once attached. Humans are naturally drawn to mysteries, and the Saqqara bird is no exception. Over the years, numerous theories have been proposed to explain its purpose. The simplest explanation suggests that it was a ceremonial object, perhaps used in religious rituals. Another idea posits that it was a toy belonging to a child from a wealthy family, possibly a boomerang, a popular concept in ancient Egypt. A third theory suggests that the bird was used as a weather vane, but this idea has been largely discredited, as the figure lacks any holes or markings, except for one added at the Cairo Museum to mount it on a stick that would have allowed it to be suspended. Almost a century after the bird's discovery, Egyptologist Dr. Khalil Messiah proposed a revolutionary theory, that the Saqqara bird was a scale model of a monoplane. He argued that the bird was missing a horizontal tailplane, but that its wings were set at a right angle, similar to those of modern aircraft. He believed that these wings could have generated the aerodynamic lift necessary for flight. Dr. Messiha also claimed that it was common practice at the time to place miniature models of technological inventions in tombs. So, did the ancient Egyptians invent the airplane in 200 BCE? If so, it would certainly ruffle the feathers of the Wright brothers, who are widely credited with inventing aviation, having made their first successful flights only in the early 20th century.